morning and Happy New Year. Let me pay attention over here. Good morning, Mikey. Mikey, you totally missed the message. Totally. Good morning, Bosa. Cool. Good morning, Luke. Luke, how was your holiday? You did all the way.
Trash.
It's cool. Good morning, Kai. Happy New Year, Kai. I hope that your year is starting off really, really good. It's only been what? A day?
Right.
This is actually going to be an interesting topic today. I actually like preparing for the topic. And we'll get into that soon. I wanted to make sure that we remind everybody, and I'll remind them shortly. I want more people to come in, so we'll repeat it again. But to make sure that you watch Trap Talk tonight, Dre will be on tonight with MJ.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun and a harmonious time. I cannot wait. I apologize again, y'all. Please forgive me. No, girl, you good. You good.
Did I miss something? Why she apologizing?
She's talking to me.
Oh, okay.
So certain people, you remember I had sent out the invite to certain people for New Year's. She didn't realize it was like to be, on the panel, and it was
okay.
New Year's. Yeah. James, for the love of God, it's 5 a.m. in California. Happy New Year. Good morning, Jim. Happy New Year. It's so funny because whenever I'm in San Diego and I would call my son, and my son would just be like so perky, and it's like 3 hour difference, and I'm like, it's 5 in the morning here. Or I think we did one of the podcasts, Dre, and it was 5 in the morning and it was 8 for you.
Yeah.
And that was the day after the cancer walk. I was tired as I
don't know what. Yeah, you was struggling.
We go back and look at it. We pulled it through. All right.
So much trash.
For many of you, you already seen the topic. Like I said, I hope you all had a awesome New Year. I also wanted to just point out that, we kind of like toggle back and forth. I don't know why this thing is jumping back and forth. We kind of toggle back and forth about the topic today. And we wasn't sure if... Oh, okay. We wasn't sure if we wanted to do mental health awareness, because that's a strong topic. And I think that it's a good topic or something good to focus on when you start the year off, like regroup. And when we think of mental health awareness, we think of it in the sense of, going crazy. No, mental health awareness is to be self-aware of where you are in all aspects of your mental state. Whatever that is, whether it's a state of depression, state of anger, state of anxiety, whatever that state is, that you check with that, and then you focus for what can I do now to help me correct it, to better it going forward. And that's something that shouldn't be a New Year resolution. You should for me, it's a day-to-day thing. Like, what am I not going to do tomorrow to take me off?
Yeah.
What am I going to do tomorrow that's going to help me?
No, I was gonna say I'm gonna drop off and come back on because I'm looking at it on my phone and I'm lagging like hell. I don't like it.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Go ahead. So so just everybody take a picture of just be mentally aware today, and just to see what you can do to prepare yourself for a greater state of happiness. And specifically to the men, I always say this, that just watching, being so close to my dad growing up, my dad always seem to be happy, you know, when he's with his kids. And I think that what some people do is they suppress a lot of the burden that naturally go on men. I mean, I think of all the things and the demands that I have that is on my husband, you know, in this household, you know, we have a stepdaughter, so he has to be there for her, you know. It's just like so much that the burden of them fall on, you know, when there's a struggle, most, you know, men handle it differently than women do. You know, we kind of like just kind of pull that all on you guys. And you still have to manage all the other aspects of your life, work and everything else. So, you know, everybody, but I just think that men, you know, kind of like in every other situation, men kind of take on different burdens, just like in certain situations, women take on different burdens. And I think that when it comes to mental health, women, we're good at talking about it with our girlfriends when we're not having a good day, right? Or with our sisters. Men normally don't even turn to their brothers, right? Because they just, you know, don't like to discuss what's going on outside of their household. So that on that. So we decided to not go with that topic today, but just definitely go into the episode and tie it into the reptiles later on down the line. But we did want to talk about the snake's anatomy and the digestion process for them. So we want to get into that. Good morning, Kara Shay. Good morning, Thomas. Good morning, Justin. All right, so I'm going to try to do this again. Let me do this. I want to share. I'm not even going to share it because I know I'm going to mess that up. But let's see if I can put it here on the front. Okay, so yeah, you're going to see it on the screen. And this is actually the snake's anatomy. Some cool things to know, well, not cool things, some interesting things to know when we talk about the snake's digestive process is to note how much and how close the organs are, and how much of the body in the first third of the body is actually the major part of your cardiovascular system. So for those of you who don't know, and you may be hearing this for the first time ever, I'm going to, my degree and what I went to school for was mortuary science. So I know the human anatomy very, very well. And a cat, for example, a cat and a frog is used in science because the cat and the dog, definitely the cat, the dog, and the frog is used for pre-study mortuary science because the anatomy is so much like the humans. When I always will look at like different things about snakes, they are so different from the human anatomy. So even for someone for me who knows like anatomy, this was interesting to like literally like study, because if me and Dre actually like, you know, we do prepare for these things in that way. So I'll start off with saying that neither one of us are claiming that we are scientists. My experience is mortuary science. That is with dead people. I can't even save your life for the most part. I can only help you get ready for the grave. And fun fact, I actually prepared my father's body when he passed away. So one of the greatest challenges, but most rewarding things I like to reflect back on is that I was the one who prepared my father for his final resting place and shipped him to North Carolina because he had two funerals, one here in Maryland and one in North Carolina. And my uncle, who was a mortician, actually, when he opened up the casket, looked at me and said, "You did a really, really good job." So one of my memorable stories. So if you can pull up, so you can have a picture of the snake's anatomy on your phone to kind of like go along with us with this. And then we're going to tie it into overfeeding and why people say that overfeeding or power feeding is not good for an animal. And I'm going to talk about something that is kind of touchy because I know a lot of people do, like double feedings. Like you double feed your snakes, you know. And I think that depending on the snake, that can be dangerous as well. And I've known of situations where people have, said, I mean, you can't scientifically, or we didn't scientifically tie it together, but I fed my snake two snakes back to back, and the snake ended up dying. So when you're looking at the anatomy of the snake, the first third, like I said, is their cardiovascular system. And pretty much, you got the nostrils. Of course, they crack me up on this picture. They got fangs instead of teeth. Fangs. Of course, the scales, which is the skin, and then you got the esophagus, where the snake actually is going to swallow. The trachea, where everyone knows how the trachea works, is pretty much a windpipe. Then the heart. And the heart is so close to the esophagus, right? Similar to us, but we are here, right? And our heart is off to the left. So, but the snake's heart is like literally right there before its ribs. And it's so close to where it just ingested that large rat or that large pig or whatever rabbit that you're actually feeding. Now think about how we watch a snake eat. When a snake is taking down that last part of a animal, you'll notice that first third of the body seems like to be the part where they struggle with it, like to get it really pushed down through the esophagus, which is right on top of the heart. So think about what pressure there is on the heart, because even if you're looking at a picture of the snake, like we just had on the screen. I don't know if y'all can see it. Actually, I can just do it like this again. If you're looking at the snake on the screen, you would see that if you're taking in a rat, and if it's a larger snake, of course, this image is imagine it being longer. But whatever it is, proportionally, it's right on top of the snake's major arteries and its heart. So imagine the process of getting that down into their system. Now with us, even when I think about us, like our food doesn't pass our heart. Our heart is off to the left. So then right after that, you would see that it goes into where the snake's lungs are. You see that it goes into where right here in this where the lungs are. So you got the heart and you got the lungs, and then you have this big rat or this rabbit coming around, and as it's coming around, it's going right past the spine. So in humans, we know that there are certain things that if they decapitate, you die instantly. Your spine, in most cases, being one of them, unless you get some help very, 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 very soon. And depending on what part of the spine, it can cause you to have immediate respiratory failure. So think about that in the case of a snake who is shaped like that. You got this big rat or the small rat. Let's not even say big, the small rat, because as you can see, it's not much space between any of those areas in the spine and the ribs. So it's coming through, there's the spine, and then it's stopping its spiny right at the stomach. So for those of us who do sonograms, we can see this. This is the area that we normally kind of like start kind of guiding us into where we can find the gallbladder. And then we know that we're ready to get into where the oviduct is, where you'll see where we get in shortly, which the snakes have 2 oviducts. I don't know if it's all snakes. I learned that, with ball pythons, that they have 2 oviducts. That was something new to me. May not have been new to y'all, but and you can see them in here. So then you have the small intestine, and then just like with us, our large intestine, and then we go into the reproductive organ systems, just like humans. Right after that is typically your uterus for women in a particular case, and So then you go into the reproductive organ systems, and that's where the ovaries and where the oviducts and everything is held. And then this is a very sensitive area when you have a pregnant snake. So this is where all of the follicles and the eggs are building in this area. So imagine we talk about snakes going off food when they get pregnant. That's why they're running out of space to house anything at that particular point. And then where the kidneys is positioned to all of that was kind of intriguing to me. The kidneys is literally right before the cloaca, but look how in proportion big the kidneys are compared to how big the cloaca is and how big the heart. Like literally the kidneys are in a snake bigger than the heart. So we were looking at that, the cloaca and then the anus being separate. So I like the way this picture kind of break it down, because a lot of people don't realize that the cloaca and the anus are not, it's all in one, but kind of like with us, the anus and the rectum. But it's still two separate things. And then of course the tail being separate from all of that. So there's the anatomy. So as you look at this picture, we know two things. One, the struggle that we talk about that animals go through. We always talk about how animals go through a process where they actually are processing their food. They become lethargic. They sit in one place, especially if you deal with bigger snakes. Like I tell you all the time, if you feed an appropriate size food to your reticulated python, they're literally going to be chilling for a few days. Unlike their normal selves, they're gonna one time that you're gonna see them kind of just not moving around in anything, because they're processing a big old rabbit through all of this reproductive system and this anatomy that we just talked about. So we can kind of see the struggle with that. Now, imagine that's that one appropriate size, and then we double that for any snake, and we double that. That now makes that process more than what their bodies are designed. And when I say design, it's like, look at the structure. That little heart is not designed to work more than it necessarily needs to. So sometimes we overfeed, especially people with larger snakes, and send the snake in cardiovascular attack, because their heart is so low. So you just put two big rabbits, maybe let's say 10 pounds a piece, 8 pounds a piece, 16 pounds on that little tiny heart that we see right there. And then that becomes the problem. So that was like, as you can see, I like tying it into my knowledge of the human anatomy, but more importantly, I loved looking and like really paying attention to that, especially into how things were positioned, into understanding the processes that we always talk about, that we see naturally. The snake goes off food when she's building follicles. The snake goes off food when she ovulates. The snake goes off food when we overfeed them sometimes. Like sometimes you can take a baby snake and overfeed them, and they don't. If you ever had that experience, like maybe you gave a snake a piece of some food and it was too much for them to digest, and then they don't want to eat for another month. They remember, this is my thought, or they understand, snakes ain't stupid, the process that it took them to go to digest that last bout of food that they had. So I think it does make a difference with smaller snakes. Like you can double feed smaller snakes, but I think that you have to be cautious of that when you're doing larger snakes or full-grown adult snakes. Wake up, Dre. Go ahead.
I'm woke. I was listening. Um, I think it'll be, it's just as stressful to feed smaller snakes because, again, like you said, if you're feeding the appropriate size meal, that smaller snake is essentially going through the same thing the bigger snake is, just on a smaller scale because, number one, you're double feeding, but two, I think also is a lot of strain on the heart for them to use up so much energy, especially with snakes being um, ambush predators, them having to, preserve that energy, build up to be able to use it, and then we make them do it twice. That's a lot of strain on the animal, which also can and usually will lead to regurgitation. So it definitely makes sense why things happen the way they do. if you've never looked at snake anatomy, it probably wouldn't make sense. But looking at snake anatomy, it definitely just kind of makes sense on why they operate the way that they do, and why some of the things that we do in captivity we probably shouldn't be doing, and overfeeding is definitely one of them because it causes way more stress on the animal. And I mean, if we're gonna be honest, if we look at like a lot of these videos we've seen of snakes in the wild, I've never seen a snake eat a double meal. I think that's something that's for us. You know, power feeding, overfeeding, or we want to put some weight on this girl for breeding season or anything like that. You just got to understand what you're doing to your animal and the risk that you're taking because honestly, it's not worth it. No matter what species of snake it is, a carefully grown snake is better than any power fed snake because ultimately, in the long run, you're going to benefit the snake versus power feeding.
I mean, and then again, I think like what you just, even as humans, you know, we overfeed ourselves, right? But
Yeah.
the unique thing that again that I tied in the position of our organs compared to a snake organ, like it's way more creative. Like God put way more effort into organizing the positioning of it. So for us, even if I overeat because my stomach is below my diaphragm, it's not necessarily pressing on my heart, right?
But
Now,
also,
our digestive system break down things that kind of direct it to our liver, our, you know, kidneys and stuff like that can cause other issues. But for a snake, even before it digests the food, like when it swallows the food, it is already compromised. If you look at that diagram.
definitely, also, we have the ability to chew our food, so we can chew it up into smaller pieces and we can essentially eat more. Um, so, yeah, it's definitely easier on us. Um, I mean, some of us are still fat, me, myself being one of them, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. But it's more detrimental on snakes. Honestly, any animal because a lot of animals that you there's not one animal that I'm gonna take that back because I was gonna say there's not one animal that was created to be fat and it's healthy for them, and I'm gonna take that back because pigs are huge, cows are huge, they're robust. But anyways, back to snakes were not designed to be robust animals. So even when I see some of these people, they're like, "Oh, this is my 17-year-old retic or 15-year-old berm or whatever," and the snake is just like protruding out from the side. That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all. And I don't get why people think that's an okay thing to do.
All right. Agreed. Before I tap into our next subject, I have to just first of all shout out the sponsor, Gershon from GP Snakes.
GP.
He is sponsoring this episode for this month of January. Everybody know who Gershon is, but there's people who are going to be watching this who do not know how awesome Gershon is and the great snakes that he can offer. So we want to just go ahead and take the time for the first time for me and honor the sponsor of this episode. So stay tuned.
The sponsor of this episode is Gershon of GP Snakes. Gershon is a ball python breeder, and he is an awesome advocate for a sense of community in the ball python hobby. I am a lucky and honored customer of Gershon's, where I purchased these beautiful clown head albinos. Gershon is the host of Under 1,000 Pod that airs every Friday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next up, that airs every second Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And he also does Grow Out that airs 6 p.m. Central Standard Time the last Thursday of every month. He's very busy. You can find him on all platforms, including YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. thank you, Gershon, for all that you do for the community. Follow Gershon, and definitely, if you're looking for some awesome animals, look him up on Morph Market as well.
All right. Thank you guys for your patience as we honored our sponsor.
Is that your phone professional voice?
Huh?
Was that your professional voice?
That's my Did I go professional? This, sir.
I like it. I like it. I'm not making fun of you.
But look, sir, this is my profession.
Listen. As long as I've known Nicole, me and Nicole literally met around this time. Like, no, we met on social media a while ago, but we met in person. It will be a year in February.
Is it a year?
I've never heard, because we met at Hamburg. I ain't never heard you sound like that before.
That is my professional.
Look, hey, Justin said pro recording narrator. Listen, you need to get on and do some of them voiceovers on TikTok, because I was listening and I was like, damn, she went all the way. Like, that's what's up. She got a professional. So wait a damn minute. That's Nicole.
Because we kind of like did that together. And again, so if you're interested in being a sponsor, I'm flexible as to what you want to be, in your sponsorship video. And it just came together really good, and I love it. But I appreciate Gershon being my first sponsor, the first person to reach out to me to sponsor. And if anybody else is interested, there are different packages. There are different things I can offer and different things that I throw in as well. If you are sponsoring the show, I think this year is going to be the year the show grows even more. I mean, we reached 1,300 subscribers. And last year was the only year that I really pushed, and so this year we're going even stronger and harder, and you guys are still riding with us. So this is the year that I think that people can definitely benefit off of the channel, because it's grown to that particular point. I didn't think that before it was something I wanted to do, but we're doing it now. Shout out to my brother Keys, who inspired me to do sponsorships a long time ago. I think that he was into that Gershon. I actually sponsored one of Gershon's show about a year or so ago. And that was, first time I didn't even know that was a thing,
Didn't even. Yeah, listen. And it's funny because, like, I didn't even know it was a thing. Y'all know I don't breed ball pythons or nothing like that, but I still support my people.
For ball pythons.
I just support my people. It was cool. Like, I didn't even know it was an option, and I was just like, well, shit, fuck it. Yeah, I want to, so.
And then too, it doesn't, like, even for me, it doesn't have to be a ball python breeder. If you have anything that you would like to market on this channel, definitely for the people who are breeders or reptile or pet store owners and things like that, the channel benefits them more because that's mostly with people who are watching. But if you do candles, you do flowers, you do catering, and you want to sponsor the channel, people in the audience also, we're normal people. We do all those and use all those services as well. So enough on that. Thanks again, Gershon. Karen Shay, I wish I could see the rat inside the snake. I always wonder if the rat's tail stays straight and long or curls up. Wait a minute. Hold on. I think I actually saw, I swear, on YouTube a video of that. I'm gonna see if I can find it, Karen Shay, and if I'll send it to you via Instagram if I find it. But I think I actually saw that in doing my research, but it was a video. And I'm not like, look, get these videos uploaded in here that are here is easy because I create them, but it's sometimes I struggle with doing other stuff outside of that. But I'll definitely get that. Good morning, Rock. Shout out my bro again, Keys. He'll be in the chat tonight cutting up, I'm sure. Would y'all say that this process is so detrimental because of their metabolism as well? Even the most active species of snake isn't as active as any lizard. Absolutely. Actually, we're going to do this again for lizards. Because as I was doing this and looking at lizards, it gets even crazier with them. I would say that their metabolism is it's definitely, especially in captivity, because we control their metabolism. If we don't give them the right heat, all of this is screwed up because that animal can't even break down to even get to that second phase past that first third of where all the cardiovascular, it can't even get past the pulmonary system if we don't give them the proper heat. We definitely killing them then. So that's why snakes regurgitate. So if you look at that, again, go back and look at that picture. The snake regurgitates because it cannot get past the reproductive system. So it throws it back up. It can't get it past the esophagus. So here we go. I can't even get it to my stomach because I don't have enough heat to break this down to even get it to where I needed to get to digest it. So I'm smart. I'm not a dumb snake. I'm going to throw this back up so I don't kill myself. Because as we know, anything rotten in anywhere will, if it doesn't produce the proper gases for any living thing, whether it's a flower or whatever, it's going to kill you. That's why we pass gas. That's why we, as my, kids would say, it's a biological function. Because if you don't, you will kill yourself. You're holding it poison.
And piggybacking off of what you just said, that is probably the number one reason why snakes regurgitate is because they don't have warm enough temperature to regulate and to digest their food. A lot of people think it's because the meal is too big, which feeding a big meal is one thing, but 9 times out of 10, most snakes can digest it. It'll just take them longer. But when you don't have that proper heat for them to digest it and break down those bones and everything like that, that is what makes them regurgitate more than feeding bigger meals.
And that's another thing, Dre, to piggyback off of that. We don't realize that what we feed, so that's why rodents are best, because they are smaller and bony material. But when we talk about snakes eating humans, I believe that it doesn't happen often because snakes know they can't digest human bone. So even in the stories that you saw, or even in the movies, one of the things they do portray correctly, that typically when a snake is a human, somewhere it regurgitates it somewhere. It can't break it down. We have too much calcification in our bodies for the snake to break down. So if you ever notice after your snake eat, before it normally does I call it a watery pee, before it does actual urine, it pushes out what we call a urine too, but it's calcium. It's that white chalky
calcified urine.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's calcium. It's the remnants of the bones that the rabbit, it couldn't break down of the rabbit, or it couldn't break down of the rat. Something for ball python breeders. If you notice, you have less calcification production excreted out of a snake that eat all ASFs compared to a rat. Why am I paying stuff like that attention? Because right now I'm really focused on seeing how my snakes grow from hatchlings to adults. If I keep all on ASF, if I mix it up, ASF and rats, and then some of them just keep it all on rats, because I swear that all these snakes, for instance, his snakes in that first year who are all ASFs, the snakes we built like they go to the gym. So I'm just trying to focus on that in my collection and see. For everybody on the screen, the comment that Keys just posted, that part. Tonight, I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Dre was going to be on Trap Talk. We're going to make sure that we turn up. It's going to be a great show. Like, again, kind of like how I do the energy with me and MJ. I'm gonna get a little buzzer for the two of y'all.
Hey,
because them two look.
I'm gonna tell you now.
You got MJ and Dre. There's nobody in the middle saying I'm not gonna say that, right?
Listen. It's gonna be a lot of cussing, definitely.
But it's gonna be a great show. I think.
For sure.
Again, well, first of all, I'm gonna say this: 2023. Well, y'all know I just keep it real. It's always a great show. You have to give that man his credit. Like, it's always a great show. And I've been watching MJ even before MJ was like I've been around. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So it's not like it's a great show. I mean, there's been many of great shows, but what I think about his is it's kind of like you can go roller skating, but if you want to go roller skate, you want to really go to Cascades, right? Like you, you know what I'm saying? Like you ain't really turned up. Until you go to
I
Cascades.
know
And I'm
exactly what
saying
you're
that as
talking
a
about.
podcaster, like it gives a different kick, right?
I think for me also, I like the questions that he asks, and then he gives you, you know,
Authenticity.
you know, it gives you time to actually talk, get your shine on, and it's not like a rush podcast because this podcast is long.
If you want it to be, absolutely, you're right. He doesn't rush, and he's passionate about it, for sure.
Yeah, for
So
sure. So
even if you don't support the host, Dre is on Trap Talk tonight, but I will say that we should be supporting everybody, each other. We should be finding something to support each other for. All of you got something that is of value to me, and all of me got something that's of value to you, and we can find that one little good. I mean, I can say this, and I'm just going to be honest. Like, I don't like everybody. I don't, but I tolerate a lot of people because we are the same in this hobby. Like, and we already outcasts. We can't outcast the outcasts. So
I tell people all the time, like the last time I was in a little situation, you can't cancel somebody that don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, it really don't matter. But we in a new year. Come out, support me. It's gonna be a good one. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good show. It always is. So shout out. Make sure you guys tune in. It's gonna be lit. Love it. And wait a minute. I was supposed to wear my Trap Talk shirt on New Year's. So I'm gonna save it for the next 2 P's on the pod, so we can rock it together. Let's see.
Hey, I agree with
Justin. She's gonna have to do a pre-recorder for sponsors too after seeing and hearing that. I got you, bro, on everything. I can tell y'all, look, I was a professional before I retired. That was my. So look, the joke is that voice would change even at work, and people would know the difference. People would know the difference. Like, oh God.
She went from Nicole to Nicolette real fast. I was like, who that woman?
Mikey, DM me. I'll let you know what we can do, baby.
Yeah, go to the next comment. Right, they already got you covered.
Look, my brother got me.
Listen,
see, I don't even look. I don't have to pay attention to the chat. He's off today.
He feeling good.
I'm trying to figure out. Look, normally he announces off days. He must be sick. Because that man, I would tell you, they work. All of them work. I mean, I'm in work.
He gonna stay home sick, and he didn't sick. He should have worked.
Y'all are funny. I didn't think about that too. The heart does play a huge factor. Yes, the heart plays a huge factor. And again, this is, guys, not me and Dre saying that you can't double feed your snakes, because we know people do, and their snakes are very healthy. But keep in mind that we don't know the long term. Just like I'm gonna
say it like this on my stance on double feeding. If you are consistently double feeding and you feel like that's what you need to do, I personally feel like if you have to double feed, then you need to up your snake's prey size. That's it. That's how I feel about it. That's it. Because why? Why not, instead of giving 2 small meals, why not just give one decently, appropriately sized meal and be done with it? Makes sense to me. I've never had to double feed any of my snakes. Now, there's been cases where, of course, like, if one snake doesn't eat and I've already thought out the right, I know what snake I can give it to. Cool, but it's not an every week thing. I'm not doing that consistently. No.
Got you. I will also say though, even the appropriate size steak, when you up the sides, like for me, there is no reason to ever give even a large ball python a So,
Large
and this
rat.
is what I'll say. Yeah. So now, don't get me wrong. In different areas, the small, medium, and large rat are clearly different. We just had this conversation.
Hey.
Like my mediums here compared to what some of y'all show me as mediums are largest. Like PA is very, I guess they got rats growing off the trees. We don't.
That's because PA damn near New York, depending on where you at.
You're so stupid.
When we was in Hamburg, we was on like an hour from Philly, and
so
I'm not.
I will say.
Listen.
I mean, and there you go. I mean, I don't know. I'm all jokes aside. I will say that is a big difference, size difference, and these are things that I learned just again from being on all the different podcasts and stuff that I watch. Like, I think we had this conversation came up one night on Big D's podcast. And people, we literally thought, just to remember this pipe, we started measuring our rats because there was some conflict of what a small and a medium was. And depending on where you are and who you're getting them from, there's a difference. But I don't think that the rats that I get here, it's ever a reason to give a ball python a large rat. I think the most is a medium, and that's a very established aged animal. I think, and John Jones, Lord rest his soul, rest in peace, John. John used to say, it ain't no reason to give him more than a weed rat. It's a damn ball python. But yeah, so I will say, but watch for snakes, because that's something that there are some snakes that, like, even with retics, people would think that because retics are big, that they digest quicker. No, they're eating bigger food. And a retic is out of commission. They take their stuff out of commission for about 7 days after eating a large rabbit. Where your ball python pretty much is back to normal after 3 days. What I mean by back to normal is they're not seeking the heat anymore. You'll see them traveling and things like that. You can even pick them up and, feel safe. Typically, with a larger snake, a boa. Although I honestly would think I've never seen, and if y'all seen it, I've never seen a boa ever, whether here or heard anyone else talk about a boa regurgitating. If you've seen it, let me know. Have any of your boas ever regurgitated? Okay, good. So it does happen. I just want to make sure, because I've just never seen it, but I'm
But again, see, that was last year. It was my red tail. That was last year. The temps dropped here, and it threw the power out, so it wasn't warm like it needed to be. So she didn't have heat. She didn't have heat to digest. So it pissed me off too. But
at the end of the day, pay attention to your snakes, but maybe if you understand the anatomy a little bit more, you understand the why your snake is even doing what we doing. Because these are things we say. The snake went off food. Why did it go off food? These things, like maybe we overfed it the last time and it just remembered the ugly ass experience it had trying to digest that meal, and I'm just not going to eat for 6 months, Or in the case of the anatomy, we see there's not much room at all for follicular growth or for eggs to grow. So I have to stop eating because my babies can't grow. Where humans, we're different. Typically, if you're not sick like I am every time you get pregnant, most people eat more to feed the baby. Snakes shut it down because of how their anatomy, everything and every animal is anatomically driven. I always said that, whether it's how they shed. I remember the first time I was concerned, like, why am I not seeing my leopard gecko shed? And then I learned that they pretty much eat their shed. Like, these are things that, you're so used to seeing the snake shed left over. It sheds. You see it go into shed, but you never saw the shed. Well, they eat their shed off for nutritional value for them. So it's just, like, crazy how everything is a living being that lives differently, and how our reproductive system and our cellular system is different.
I couldn't be an animal. I'm not eating no fucking shed. I'm not doing that. I couldn't be a dog because I'm not licking my own asshole. I'm not doing that either. Like, no.
Right, or cat.
I can't be a cat because I'm not coughing up the nasty ass fur balls. Disgusting. No, thank you.
He said he had a 3-day weekend. Oh, that's that's right. It was just a holiday. We all look.
I work in
What
healthcare.
KG said
Holidays don't
when you
exist.
retired, all the days just run together. Like it was just a holiday. I keep forgetting because I know Key's always at work. I'm like, wait a minute.
But you ain't do nothing but go to sleep anyway. He was like, New Year, Shmoo Year. I'm going to sleep. Like, we was talking shit like, okay, nigga, keep it cute. I'm about to go to bed. I was like, my bad, okay, real thing.
Go shoot. Y'all lucky I was up.
Listen.
No ball python needs a large rat ever. Hey Zach, agreed. I agree. Unless, like I said, you live somewhere where a large is small. I don't know, but
yeah, because if you go to like PetSmart and get a large rat,
that's why I was joining late. Keisha starts work at 8:15, so we spent the last. Oh, isn't that cute?
That's so cute. Oh, y'all so cute. It hurts.
Medium at most. Yeah, I have a couple of my larger ones, and they're like one of them is like over 3,000 grams, and I definitely give him medium. But even then, you know, he'll take a small just as contently too. So I agree. Them rats in New York be on demon time. New York rats are different. PA rats, Philly rats are different.
Listen, that's part of the reason I ain't never been to New York. You got one motherfucking time. No, hell no.
No, it's a lot of fun though. New York is a lot of Manhattan is a lot of fun.
I hear what
We
you're talking
did
about.
go to all the boroughs one time. That was like cool. It was cool, but it was definitely not Manhattan.
I'm not taking myself where I cannot carry my gun because those rats need to be taken care of. That is a problem, and I've seen them in action.
Agree, Justin. Dre was quick with that hand raise.
My fact. Happens to the best of us. You know?
Apparently, the true bowls are more sensitive. The comment, I haven't heard of it.
I've had a BCI. I've also had a BCI recursion. I mean, honestly, when it comes to like anatomy and how to care for BCI versus BCC, for me personally, how I care for my animals, just really no big difference. Other than the BCCs get bigger, but other than that, there's pretty much the same. But boas they're sensitive, but they're not, and they're huge eaters. But when something is wrong, and that's literally it with boas.
I'm like, what is this noise? Sound like it must be a bird outside my window. Yeah, like I said, I think too it depends on what that. I clearly learned there's a huge difference from where you live, what size that rodent is. So, till I give me a garbage disposal, I have to. A boa is a good garbage disposal. You just gotta still kind of be conscious of. You gotta have more than one to use them as one, because you can't boas. You can kill quickly if you.
Honestly, if you want a true garbage disposal, you need to have a monitor, a retick, or a berm, something that you.
Or Tackles, keys. Tackles are good garbage disposals. They for it.
Facts.
Yeah,
any type of large or a crocodilian, because them motherfuckers eat literally anything. You throw them in the water, we'll see you again.
Yep. I miss no days at work, only for Tinley. All right. Well, speaking of, everybody, Tinley is coming up in March. So for those that said, I wish, plan now. For the first time, I think we're going to drive instead of fly, so I can kind of pack the car with not reptiles, but reptile supplies, because I do think that Tinley has some of the best prices.
Hey, let me tell you about this woman here. This lady be up there cleaning the fuck up at Tinley.
No.
All right.
No,
listen, she walk up in Tinley with a Walmart grocery cart. What?
That was the last show. That last show was popping. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I hear what you're talking about. Anyway, she walked up in there with a Walmart grocery cart, and that motherfucker was full.
No, it wasn't.
She was in there talking about some rollback prices.
Wait a minute though. Those PVC enclosures that was like $225.
They were, yeah, and they were. Those was 6 foot, right? They were huge.
I wanted somebody. Look, I'm like, can you just give me your drum and bring it back? Like, come on, y'all got to be kidding me. Like, this is a setup. Like, this is heartbreaking. Yeah. Like, Jesus. Now the thing is though, but if you shipped them back, then you ended up paying almost $1,000 messing with FedEx. That was the thing. So you had this $225 enclosure that you was gonna pay $500 something shipping on.
But listen, and shipping. Hold on.
Oh, thank you. You got it.
Yeah. I was trying to get to Justin's comment because I remember me and him was walking around in October. He saw some cages he wanted. He saw some cages he wanted, and he had to put them in his bed. Yo.
Justin said he packed that van up.
Because, bro, listen, that's why I do like being where the location is. It's not a bad drive. I drive it by myself all the time, and I'm driving straight through. I ain't stopping. But man,
you see, Karen Shay, them telling them enclosures, I couldn't believe it. Like if like literally. And they had a bunch of them. They had black, they had white. I'm like, this can't be right.
Listen, Tinley, stay with the options. Like, I've never even bought anything from Tinley but a T-shirt, and I keep going back. Like, it's a fun show. I'm not going back to the bar with this one and her husband though.
Before I forget. I stumbled, and I don't know why I never looked at this channel. So anybody who know, I'm gonna send her a message. Jana from ASM, the whole back rack. I watched that for the first time this week, and I absolutely love that show. So it's not for those of you who. What I like is that I'm not an analytical person, and I like draw to stuff that is not of me. And it's a very analytical podcast for ball python breeders. I really love it. It's 2 women. It's a great show. So I just wanted to shout that show out. At the whole back rack. I know Jana was one of them. Oh my God, why is the other girl name not coming? Is it Jennifer? Jessica? Well, look up the whole back rack podcast on YouTube. I am now in love with another podcast. Not that I needed another podcast under my belt. I literally glued to my phone. It seems like 17 to 20 hours a week, but that's definitely a good one to add to your rotation. Sorry, Dre.
No, you did.
I know somebody Casey is so crazy.
Sad part is I don't think you're lying. The second part might be a lie, but that first part, put the cheese in the bag, bitch. Like, no, I can see it. I'm like, I ain't even got no cheese, but man, come on, I'll take you to get some cheese. Nah, yeah.
Oh my God. It's 6-hour drive for me. So, Karen Shay, that's not bad though. Dre does that about 6 for you, right, Dre?
5.
So for us it's 11, but that's nothing. Like I see again when you can like we can go drive to Ohio, visit my family in Ohio, and then drive again. You know, so I know what I do know is I won't feel like I felt the last time wanting all of this stuff and can't get it on the plane.
Well, look,
I was having a fit.
So if y'all driving, I know y'all gonna be staying for like the whole damn week then.
No, I still gotta come back to my animals.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Even though I got people who take care of them, I got to.
Man, listen, that drive ain't nothing. I've even had some of my friends that want to go, and I'm like, all right, cool, drive here, since it's only like 3 or 4 hours, and I'll drive to Chicago. Like, cause that for me, driving is peaceful. That's it. Last time I didn't get back until like 1 a.m. I don't mind driving. It's nothing.
See, I don't mind, especially like normally it's just me and my husband, so it's it's.
I think everybody knows your husband now. You can start saying his name. You know, you did a whole podcast with the man. Give the man his identity.
He's still my husband. That's his identity. That's gonna go. That's gonna be the epitaph on his tombstone. My damn husband. My husband. Her husband.
I'm fighting for your innocence, bro.
When he gets to heaven, God's gonna say, "That's her husband. Don't touch him until she gets here. Let her get here. Don't mess with him. That's my babe, my husband. It's gonna be that babe."
She gonna say you was dating that gangster woman from Baltimore, huh?
Oh my God. So it's a 21-hour drive for me. Woo! Zach, where you coming from? California?
You better start driving today.
It gotta be California.
Jesus.
Golly. Which just always cracked me up. So it takes us longer to go to California than it takes us to get to Antigua.
You said Utah.
Utah. Wow.
Well, 21 hours. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to fly, Zach. But I look, I don't know. For the way I was feeling with them deals the last time, I might have drove 21 hours now because I don't have to worry about getting back to work. And just make like a whole journey, a whole trip of it. But
a trip like that though, you need people. I ain't doing that by myself. I want a group of people with me because driving 21 hours, fuck no.
See, I can do it. I just want to stop.
I'm sure you could, and I know I could, but do I want to?
Listen, I'm gonna call him Mr. Husband.
Justin, you better not fix your lips to call that man Mr. Husband. He gonna look at you like.
Say that's something she would say. That's something she would say. Hey,
Mr.
Paul.
Husband.
That is too funny.
That is funny because I got one of my friends here. And she introduced me to her. She was like, "This is my hubby." What's his name? Because I'm not calling that man hubby.
Hubby.
No.
I know. But we are horrible with that because that's all they. I mean, not all they are, but you know what I'm saying. Like now, this is the funny thing. If I call my husband by any of his regular names, then I'm mad at him. He knows it. Like if I just come out and say Slim, he ain't even gonna respond. He already know I'm mad about something.
You just be using him as a piece of meat. Build this, build that. Your name is husband now, and that's it.
No! Oh, no. Don't even know. Look, one thing he can say, 15 years, his wife never came home and said, "Babe, I need my nails done. Babe, buy me this." Now, he bought me a lot of stuff. Like for Christmas, I got 2 pair of Balenciagas. He buys me a lot of stuff, but I don't ask for anything. Like, so I think for him, all the things that he do aside for that is because I've never been a needy wife. Except for building stuff. Because you don't want me building stuff. Every time that you try to get me to do something like that.
Needy, nah.
He gonna do it all over anyway because I messed it up.
Needy? No, definitely not. I don't seem like you. Stubborn? For sure. That's more your lane. For sure.
Stubborn, I'll take that. I can't. I'm not.
You're not going to take it. That's just what it is. You're a stubborn friend. You know what I'm saying?
Can I deny this one?
Ma'am, you're a Gemini. We're not about to talk about it. We're not discussing it.
Mikey, it's love when you meet everybody in person. It creates a whole different community, a whole different sense of community at that particular point. What's up? Oh God, he's cracking up.
Justin's comment.
Left my ass so he called her stubborn.
Yo.
Justin.
This is a Gemini.
Justin.
Gemini's are.
I didn't deny it though. All right, so it's 9:00. So let's wrap this up. First of all, let me just remind everybody what the topic was of today. Remind everybody to just stay conscious of how your snake's anatomy is structured in your feeding practices. Again, like one of the things that I like to hear is think about what the snake wants and what the snake needs more over what we want and what we need. And even for breeders, I think that if you feed ASFs, that's why I was telling Keys, I'm up in my ASF collection. If you feed ASFs more than rats, I think that naturally, for whatever reason, the snake develops better physically. And you can see it. And you can see it. You can see an ASF adult snake and a rat adult snake. They look totally different in body structure. So, absolutely. Laughing in love for them. I know, Justin. I know. But I didn't deny it, Justin. I didn't deny it. I can be a little stubborn, but I can be sweet too. So, with that said, again, shout out to our sponsor, GP Snakes.
GP.
Shout out to Gershon. If anybody interested in sponsorship is what you want to promote, we just got to make sure that it makes sense for my channel and that it makes sense for you. Because at the end of the day, a sponsorship is a partnership. It should be a benefit for you first because you're actually invested in the sponsorship. And then definitely it's a benefit for me as well. Overfeeding is definitely not good. I've seen snakes with BBLs in a bra.
I don't know what kind of snakes you've been around, my boy, but you might want to get that checked out.
I can't. Oh my God.
I would say this. Them snakes must be from Florida.
You are bad. Or Georgia. Because if you ever get on a plane and you're coming from Florida or Georgia, that's one of the things that me and my husband will be pointing out, like how people be walking or how people can't sit down like in the chair. They be in the airport leaning over the chair. It's funny. Wherever you come from Florida or whenever you come from Georgia, specifically Atlanta.
Nope. I ain't even about to entertain that.
Bro.
Too easy. Key's about to go ahead and go back to sleep.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
right?
No, I'm about to go to work.
Again, shout out to everybody. Have a happy new year. Do not forget the show tonight. Trap Talk, Dre and MJ. Skip my man.
Right.
Dre and MJ.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. CST.
Yeah, 6 p.m. for y'all people 21
West
hours
Coast.
away.
Yeah, you know. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard for my Eastern Standard Time, folks.
Super excited.
We gonna be in that list.
So hope that I know I will see Zach
Yeah.
there. I will see Justin. Hopefully, if he's not working, Keys, of course, will be there in the trap. Meet me in the trap. It's going down.
You sound old. Please don't do that.
Hold on. Don't act like. Oh, that was your dance in Ohio in 2005, 2006.
It was everybody's dance everywhere. Don't play with me. Quit playing with me.
I had never seen anybody do it like wait a minute. What was the name of the club? It was a club that was saying, hey, anybody was like with that pop boy. Jump up.
Look at Nicole, this girl.
I ain't never seen no shit like that. Everybody, all the guys. That was that and Rick Ross. What was the daggone song? It was 2005, 2006. Oh, dang it. Oh my God. The one where
Hustling?
And come on. It was one of his first one. The real Noriega. He showed me a million favors.
That's Push It. I just said that.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's Rick Ross though, right?
Yeah, it's Rick Ross.
Okay, so that song, that was your song in Ohio. Those two songs.
Listen.
Wait a minute. And Bubba Sparks, Booty, right? That was the girl song.
Okay, you got us on that one,
Was
okay?
the girl song. That song came when the girls lost.
Hey, that song came on. I used to be like,
I ain't never seen nothing like this.
Listen, hey, them teen.
And Maryland, you know, they be too cute. Them girls, they will jump out. Woo, they had a whole routine for it.
Yeah, I can see the dudes walking up to them. What you trying to do? You know, y'all put that ooh on everything.
Oh my God. All right, y'all, for real. We going for real this time.
You might have got us with the bubble spark.
Yes, Casey, I'm a DJ and a dancer. What you really want?
Don't get her started. Don't get her started. Because back in 05, I was in high school. Nicole was at the clubs doing this.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, I was in there.
And her splits, apparently. But you're not gonna be trying to clown my state.
Back then, that was before I was, you know, I was saved by the husband. I used to come in there with the crew. There you go. Yup, Bubba Sparks. Booty, 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 rocking it. That was the song now.
I'm about to, now I got some reels to make with that song. All three of them songs. I'll probably get canceled. I'm gonna be like,
Maki said when you heard that you knew it was finna be wild.
Man,
I'm
listen.
telling you, that's what I love, because in Ohio, I'm telling you, Ohio, when you came to party, you came to party. That's the one thing. Like, coming from, like, Maryland, where women, when they get dressed up, they didn't really want to sweat their hair out and stuff like that. They were more of my crowd in Ohio. They turned up. When that song came on, that was it. All the new booties was on the dance floor.
It was everywhere. Now it's like bot booty. Everything is BBL and bots. And I'm okay. I don't want the grocery store, but I want the naturalness.
That's it. Every day I'm hustling. Yeah. Told y'all,
Don't come back here. Don't come back here. I'm sick of you.
I'm going to sleep.
Don't come back.
How you telling kids I'm tired? I'm going to sleep.
Listen, you ain't had your coffee today because you got me messed up. She gonna wake up, Miss New Booty, bring it together. Nobody got time for you.
Y'all all have a blessed Monday. We see y'all later.